Feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me. So alive, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. With crimson secrets and forbidden bliss, can't stay still, don't stop that thrill. My bones crave your skin, temptation within, mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. close, it starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I wanna say goodbye. I forgive the pain you gave to me so long ago. Sleepless nights I laid awake just begging to let
Nice shot. Lock and load. Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Damn! That was one of the best tickle fights I've been to.
Hello and welcome everybody. You're watching LOOT.BET Season 8 once again. We've got two stunning best of threes for you today, starting with this Virtus.pro Heretics matchup, both 2-0 in this Swiss system. We're going to find a playoffs participant along with Namiga taking their spot yesterday. Of course, with those invite teams as well that we dot into practice when we get into those playoffs. I think, Raptoros, this is going to be an exciting matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, VP in really the best seat in the house at the moment to get themselves up into that playoff bracket. Of course, both of these teams doing very well early on in this competition. But I think if you look at basically everything, how everything stacks up coming into this one, VP should be in the clear. But we know how the upsets can and do happen here.
Yes, certainly. I think that Heretics especially, a very fiery team, a very scary team to play in a best of three. Their map pool fairly stable, that firepower, they're always going to bring it to the server. They are an impressive threat, and one that Virtus.pro probably aren't massively happy with seeing here. You see those world rankings, they're incredibly close. Unfortunately, it's not the full Heretics roster. It's Navira out of the back door, Python through the front door. We've got that change up and also Wasink playing as that stand-in here for this one.
Yeah, so it's really going up against Heretics in this one. They really need to pull it out the bag if they are going to book their ticket into the next stage of competition, up against what has been a very, very strong VP roster so far. They're on a 12-win streak right now. All of those matches best of threes, including a 2-0 up against Na'Vi. So they are popping on all cylinders right now, and Heretics going to find this one very tough to deal with.
Exactly, and Virtus.pro, they've got that sort of tier 1 experience. They are a sort of ESL Pro League level tier team. They'll be playing in the IEM New Yorks of the world, the EPLs of the world, and just remember, that means that you are able to amass that tier 1 experience that Heretics have kind of gone without. It's not like the individual building blocks of that Heretics roster don't have experience. Of course, in the past, it's XMS who brings a lot of experience there. Lucky, if you even just go from top to bottom of this roster, Akio, Maka, XMS. It's just everybody bringing a lot of firepower, a lot of experience. It's just how can they work together in a series like this?
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them. The main thing, though, is Lucky. How does he manage his team through this situation where you have a very recent signing in Python, you have a stand-in coming into this series of Wozink as well. So how do you manage that sort of situation? Do you still try to keep to the structure that Heretics have been trying to bring to these games when they have their full roster? Or do you play a little bit more puggy? Do you play a little bit more loose and just allow your individuals to perform? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, definitely a big question mark there. We see those maps, those picks and bans with Inferno, Dust 2 and Mirage taking center stage. I really do wonder why Heretics would go towards an Inferno and Dust 2 here. We know that Virtus.pro, their perma pick is usually this Dust 2. They're winning it 90% of the time. That's pretty insane. But Inferno, a map that they're incredibly stable on as well. For VP, it's actually quite like an easy cruise of a series, particularly just because of this map pool. They've got these 6 staple maps that they're very confident on. They do have that permaban that they're throwing into place every single time. They won't be going towards certain maps a lot of the time. This time it's Nuke. You're never going to see them playing it. And on the other 6, they're very confident as well. It puts Heretics in a sticky situation, you know, Raptros, where they don't really know where to go towards in a series like this. And Inferno, they fancy it as their best bet. We've seen a couple of shakes from Virtus.pro over the course of this tournament, but usually winning it mostly on this terrorist side.
Yeah, absolutely. The picks don't entirely surprise me here. Of course, Inferno is going to still be a big struggle here for Heretics, considering how much VP have played this map in previous tournaments and previously in this tournament as well. So it's definitely not the most comfortable pick for them, but it's probably still the best option, though, because the other consistent map for Heretics has been Dust 2, and that's exactly within VP's wheelhouse. So yeah, it was always going to be a struggle coming into the picks for this one, and they've probably done about the best that they could do, but VP still hold all the advantages.
Yeah, that's definitely the talking points going into this series. I think Inferno, when you actually look at the losses VP have actually incurred, it's against Gambit, AGF, and Endpoint. AGF, the roster who were able to beat North on Inferno as well. Very dominant scoreline later on in the tournament. And, well, realistically, I think this is going to be a tough slog of a matchup as we get into the knife round.
Yeah, absolutely. The side decision up for grabs here. No one wants to commit to anything just yet. You can see the map stats, 51% CT round a win there. Of course, Inferno usually considered CT-sided. That just proves it, as now we'll just get that brawl inside of middle, and it looks like VP will be able to get themselves the side pick.
Yeah, that's a massive advantage here for them. I'm sure they'll be going for this counter-terrorist side first. You want that home field advantage going onto your T side later where you can dictate the pace to try and close out the map. For Heretics, it's the back foot early. They have to come out of the gates hot and heavy, and knowing that Dust 2 is next on the cards, I don't think they'll be feeling entirely confident on that turf. I think they've got to take a big win against Virtus.pro early here. Right out of the gates, fiery counter-strike, and it all starts with this pistol, of course, in the next couple of moments.
Yeah, this is such an important map for Heretics to win, because if at that point they can just drop the map on Dust 2, or rather, they've expected to drop the map on Dust 2, considering how VP plays on that one. We could get a surprise 2-0, of course. But if we do go to that third map, then that will be on Nuke, which that will be on Mirage, excuse me, which VP haven't really played in recent times. Only 2 maps over the past 3 months for them on that map. So really, Heretics really need to get to that third map, and it starts here with a win on Inferno.
Exactly. I think the thing for Virtus.pro as well is a lot of those statistics are deceptive. They've had an extended period of inactivity throughout the coronavirus, when they haven't really been invited to these LAN tournaments. Lots of these bigger organizations really having to shuffle up their schedules, just like us, to be perfectly honest with you. But here with a pistol, the USPS is out for Virtus.pro. The single P2000 on Sanji, nade duty for him as well, as Heretics take this one slow towards the T-ramp.
Yep, no immediate rush. You've got a slight stack there for Virtus.pro inside of the A-bomb site, inside of brackets, but not going to be met with any resistance just yet. Heretics, they'll just slowly walk themselves up Banana, trying to gain a little bit of map control here, and hopefully, for them at least, they can they steamroll the solo player on that B site. But look at this well-timed push here for VP, just all the way down mid with 4 players, and they've been already been able to find a kill.
Yeah, this push should certainly be thwarted right now. Kills left, right, and center for Quicker and Sanji. Lucky the next to drop. And Python Maka, what can they do? They're stuck outside of the B bomb site. Buster's ready and waiting. Unfortunately, no nades to hold back the push, but this USPS might just be good enough. He's able to connect onto Maka, and Python might be next in line. He spots the cross. The smoke grenade is horrendous, and Buster surely can just come in and clean this one up, which he absolutely does. An easy, simple round for Virtus.pro, and it's all off the back of that middle information. Gesturing down mid, spotting no support from Heretics, and able to just collapse and close, box them in on Banana.
Yeah, Heretics completely and utterly surrounded in that situation, taking contact through towards B, while simultaneously having to deal with this push from the bomb of Banana as well. And VP, that was just absolutely clinical there. The way they dealt with that pistol round, and it's worked out for them in a pretty clean fashion indeed. They hold the advantage 1-0 at the very start of this game. Heretics, they need to get in gear soon, otherwise it's going to slip from their fingers very quickly.
Yeah, this will be a tough matchup. We absolutely know that, but those pistols can often be the bonus. Virtus.pro stealing that one away makes this a lot harder for Heretics in the early portions of this one. Deagle's coming through, a pretty null and void investment as they send it on to second mid. Expecting a bit of apps control. The goal here is to find 1 or 2 kills. Not that I think that Virtus.pro are going to give them all too much. Already information towards the bottom of Banana, not spotting out any intel as of the 1:20 mark. And VP can hold this defense sturdy as a response. They know that Buster is confident at solo holding this B bomb site. We'll see this 1-4 setup, which is unlike most CT sides. Virtus.pro the majority of the time. Let's see if Buster can hold up against the pistols, as Yakandar is already on his way back to B.
Yeah, that support has already arrived inside of CT, so Buster isn't really all alone here on this B site. Heretics continuing to push up with the pistols that they have. They just have 2 flashes here to try and take the B bomb site with the inferior weaponry. They get flashed themselves. They have to try and push the smoke now. The utility coming in from VP, and it all works out in Buster's favor. Yendikar as well, farming up a bit of cash with the MP9. There's at least a bomb plant there for Heretics, but that's all they're going to get.
I think that's a successful round. Obviously, a buy in the next round. It's going to look a lot more healthy off the back of that bomb going down. You get that extra bonus cash for your troubles. But Virtus.pro, nice containment policy there on the B bomb site. You saw Buster staying alive for way too long. I'm actually surprised Heretics are able to slip a bomb down with just a couple of flashes and not even many upgraded pistols. Will be 2-0 for Virtus.pro nonetheless, as these upgraded rifles come out for Heretics in the next. It's Maka already on the AWP. A full set of utility for this T squad. Is Virtus.pro, I'm sure they'll be contending with this one. A little bit of speed down Banana, surely. They love to throw those smoke grenades out, and how are Heretics going to deal with that firepower?
Well, this is going to be their best chance so far to deal with that sort of play. Let's see what the option is for Heretics. An early peek from Maka towards Banana. No one aggressing with that one so far from VP, as they've stacked 4 players here towards the top. Banana just throwing all that utility down, but none of it quite connecting onto those Heretics players sitting so far back.
I love this Virtus.pro setup. It's so dynamic. 4 players towards the B bomb site to catch any execute early, and now re-defaulting into a more standard configuration. This 3-2 setup that we like to see from the CT side on Inferno. Just very standard stuff, but very creative at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. The return to their usual CT default, though, in this one, after that nade stack inside of Banana, as Heretics again try and prod and probe and take map control away. They've been able to secure control of Banana. They even have a presence inside of apartments as well. So this has already gone pretty well for Heretics, despite not a single shot being fired. Just that little bit of damage there on Lucky, and that is going to be it, as VP continue to change their setup here as they send one more away.
Yeah, just really slow stuff. Heretics really haven't baited out the execute, but I mean, James, he is rotating towards the B bomb site regardless. No intel gained, and he will not be a factor on this A bomb site push. Heretics, again, gesturing for a little bit of information onto this cross on Arch side. It is the key man, Sanji, often that A anchor, and inside the mini pit, he will try to catch these dropovers from the balcony. Heretics heads in.
You've also got James getting the rotation through as well towards Library. Vasnik, the first player to try and push up and try and take a bit of contact. James teasing with the angle here, but Vasnik's able to win out that gunfight, but the response is so damn good from VP. At least there's a couple of entries there for Heretics, maybe even a bomb plant as an option, but no, there's simply no time left remaining, and VP extend their advantage.
Yeah, when you push into that A bomb site with only 20 seconds on the clock, it's really easy to contain that push for Virtus.pro. You see just James inside the library, delaying so much time off that clock, and once those frags are found, there's only 2 seconds. You need 4 for a bomb plant. Virtus.pro 3-0 as they start to stabilize on this CT side. Only Maka retaining an AWP. There'll be one opponent AWPer, of course, that's on James. He'll be playing a very dynamic style this time towards that A arch area. Try not to get overwhelmed by what he knows will be pistols this time. Maka firing through for the first, but 15 points of health to his name. These Deagles still need to find some success, and perhaps Lucky able to do it. Sanji does strike back.
Buster with the response, trying to stop the push off the back of that, but Heretics with the pistols, they've been able to keep that AWP on towards Kiyoshiba, so that's at least a little advantage that they have in this, but of a round that has been pretty poor so far for them, but they decide to readjust here. Decided to creep their way up through mid, but I believe there's a double stack towards that well, there's a player inside that cubby at the moment. There we go. There's James scoped up on the angle and just waiting for that contact straight into the back of Vasnik, the smoke to try and get away as well for James.
Yeah, James doesn't need to stick around. He can create a stalemate. Bomb dropped. All of the information gained, and Heretics held it an arm's length away from this A bomb site with the AWP surely supposed to fall. Keo hits a jumping shot. In the meantime, it's Python to try and pick up the pieces into A, and now James will be challenged. Of course, he's got the support from Quicker inside the mini pit, but Python surely no bomb plant, even with 30 seconds left to play with. The bomb is isolated. That's C4 in no man's land, and he's going to get executed. 4-0 Virtus.pro. Nice confidence stuff there. You see them just playing their own game, not doing anything too flashy or funky. This dynamic CT setup really paying dividends on the Heretics map pick of Inferno.
Yeah, it's always great when James is landing his shots as well. Not an error made in that round from the VP AWPer. So now it's a 4-0 advantage. 2 VP in this one. Heretics be able to get a gun round out of this, though. No T-side AWP for them, though. It's just the 5 AKs and pretty full utility for them in this one, as they'll not rush off the back of this. They're just going to lie in wait for the moment, wait for VP to make the first move. Yendikar with the jump spots over to see if anyone's cheated that smoke inside a banana. The grenade in has done a decent amount of damage onto Lucky.
That's exactly what you were expecting in the early portions of this round. A banana control for Virtus.pro, getting aggressive, and then falling back as those smokes start to dissipate. Your positions is way less powerful if Heretics are able to burrow their way back on. Of course, Molotovs of their own to try and force James into the open. But this AWP staying stable on banana, just contending for this T-ramp angle. Not going to spot any intel as of the minute mark as Heretics look to fancy their chances at the pointy letter once again. Lots of utility usage in the early portion of this 5th round for VP. They know that it's against the rifles. They don't need to conserve anything apart from perhaps a Molotov and a smoke, a couple of flashes for the retake perhaps. That's if it even goes down in the first place.
They'll surrender control of brackets for the moment, but this is all plans here for Virtus.pro. They still have the 4 players on this side to try and defend. Decent amount of utility damage being done as well, as these VP players lie in wait for that Heretics push to come through. They have the crossfire towards balcony as well. Buster's able to put one more down as well, but here come the good entries from Heretics. They've been able to get themselves a man advantage, and here comes Maka from long as well. So the first round where Heretics looked like they're alive, and they brought it down to a 2 versus 1 in the post plan.
James got the AWP as well. It's decision time for him. If he doesn't find this frag early, maybe saving the AWP becomes the best option. And that nade, classically as ever, is going to seal his fate. Backtracking away, wanting to cling onto this sniper rifle, giving Virtus.pro a little to work with in round number 6. Remember, the money hasn't been built up as of this point. Yakandar, just $150 to his name. Or do we be minimum loss bonus as well? So really not much to work with here. And with Sanji and Buster putting up the majority of the numbers in the early portion of this matchup, what are they going to have to work with? I'm sure Virtus.pro will be going for somewhat of a force, but maybe just Yakandar onto a pistol, a couple of M4s maybe retrieved, lack of utility as well, and this slow style of Heretics actually really nicely contending with the lack of smoke grenades, those early Molotovs. They can wait them out and go for this execute.
That's certainly been their plan for the opening part of these rounds. VP, though, despite how seemingly comfortable they were able to take the first 4 rounds, like you said, they haven't been able to build up the cash, but they are going to force around this, though. They get a couple of rifles out there, and the Deagle on Jame as well. Full armor across the board, decent amount of utility as well. So it is a decent force buy here for Virtus.pro, certainly something that they can work with as Heretics look to take 2 on the bounce.
Exactly. That's exactly what they need to do as well. That would break the Virtus.pro economy at this point, and playing a more passive style is a response. VP don't want to give away the opening kill towards Banana, but they have done. It's into the apartments. Kiyoshima, often the headshot machine, able to quickly eliminate Jame, and that's the AWP out of the equation. Expect Sanji to try and rummage into the apartments to try and retrieve this one. Instead, it's just the kills coming through on the B bomb site. That might force Heretics away.
And it has. Heretics deciding B-bomb site is not for them. They found the entry towards apartments as well. There's a slight opening in the defense here. Virtus.pro trying to rush back in towards this A-bomb site to try and defend. Sanji just has a P250 and nothing else. So there's only so much that he could do about that as Heretics are able to get the post plant, and VP might as well just save these rifles.
So what we've got to keep in mind here is the scoreline will be 4-2, very likely 4-3 here, with Heretics having the far greater buy in round number 7. But Virtus.pro, their scary side here on Inferno is really that terrorist half. That's when they usually amass the most of their rounds. And Heretics, especially on this turf, Inferno CT side for them, it's actually a little bit touch and go. You look at their previous results, it's mostly successes on that terrorist side. So 2, 3, certainly not enough. I think they need this big 8, 9, 10 round scoreline here, which I think Virtus.pro should deprive them of as soon as they get rifles back in hand. We've seen a flary style at the start of this one. We knew so much firepower on the server, this being a 2-0 matchup as well. You talked about Virtus.pro having that 12 win streak, but here on Inferno, let's hope that continues. Lots of big wins recently. Remember that win in IEM New York against Na'Vi. They've actually not dropped a single map in the whole of IEM New York. So as you get into those playoffs, there's certainly one to watch out for there.
Definitely is. Coming off the back of those absolutely fantastic results, you maybe think that there might be more to come, especially if we return to land settings. But Maka, great little opening there towards Banana, punishing the push that Buster attempted. And now Kika is still trying to tease with this smoke. Around the edge he goes and lines up another. So there we go. There's Python down. And Kika might even get aggressive and go for more here. It's a greedy play, but it might work out.
Yeah, he absolutely needs to. Remember, the round is over. If he dies, if he doesn't find a kill either, this 4 versus 2 is practically impossible without him finding anything all too much. But bombs go down, simple round. P250 sprays away for 1, but I don't see Sanji saving this AK-47 here. Kiyoshima's already at the ready. Only 9 HP to his name, though, so this is practically suicide heading into this A-bomb site right here. Of course, Sanji has the head glitch angle, but lucky. Can easily contend. 4-3, Heretics back in the game.
Yep, a round they should have picked up, and they have. So, scoreline, like I said, 4-3. Virtus.pro going to be able to get a buy up in this situation. How healthy it is going to be still remains to be seen. But, yeah, positive couple of rounds there for Heretics. Important not to fall foul to the force buys or to the ecos that VP were able to pull out of the bag. And it's going to be another little half buy here for VP in this situation. So, not looking too good in terms of the money in this one. And Heretics should be comfortable to bring this all even, but VP on the force buy, definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. They're so good with these pistols. You see those fiery players, Yakandar being the main man as well. He finds the first, and Maka instantly eliminated. Remember, Python's nice and low, so he trades up Bogdan's Law to the AWP, and back to the AK. He can't seem to make his mind up. I think he wants to get that AK out of the map, make it unretrievable, not give VP all too much to work with before this potential B pursuit comes into effect. It will be met by 3 players from the Virtus.pro side. You see Sanji finally rotating in. He's got a defuse kit, but no body armor to get the job done. And with Buster isolated here, he's got a massive work to do. Even with the smoke grenade down, he can take a more aggressive peek off the back of this, but expect as soon as it dissipates for Heretics to plunge into this B bomb site, and looking at the configuration, it should be hyper successful.
That was the last remaining PC utility for Buster to use. Puts it down inside the front of Banana. Finally has support from the Endercar, who also has a smoke grenade, so they can delay this even further, especially with 35 seconds left remaining. That late smoke could cause Heretics all sorts of problems. They're going to commit to this BXQ with that smoke in the front of the site. No, they're going to go back, all the way back. This is a very late round call here for Heretics. It might end up being successful on towards the A-bomb site, unless Kikit has anything to say about this. If he can delay the bomb in progress, then he might win the round for his team, but he is dealt with.
Very close scenario. Bomb should very easily go away, and now Heretics, they have a real chance at holding this one up against just the pistols. 2 sets of Kevlar on Virtus.pro, and expect them to try and plummet into this A-bomb site. No mid-control. It's Yekindar late to the party. Might actually be able to catch out the first in the form of Kiyoshima. Headshot hit, and as the Deagles wrap on through, Wasnik, he's the stand-in, needs to hit some shots here, and he is absolutely going to step up to the task. First frag found, Python there to finish. Heretics, they draw the score to evens.
Yeah, a couple of losses, though, there from Heretics, dropping 3 players. Of course, they have the money to be able to cover that, as they've been able to establish quite the bank account here in this one, but the score is all level. We'll actually get a pause come through as well. But Heretics, apart from that last round, they've had a couple of comfortable sequences. Like I said, being able to build up that cash, and VP, at least they'll get the buy up into this one. But it was an interesting decision to go for the half buy in that previous round. They had enough to be able to scrape together a couple of rifles, but I think VP were more prioritizing the utility in that situation, because if they had committed to the rifles, they weren't going to be able to get any of those grenades out there, and those are just so important here on Inferno. Yeah,
that really did seem to be a mistake there for VP. I felt like they heard the rotate down Banana, maybe presuming it was a fake, and only leaving Buster on his lonesome towards the A-bomb site. Definitely a lack of judgment there. Match pause. This surely is a tactical. As Virtus.pro, they're approaching this kind of shaky turf now. 4-4, they don't want to give away many more rounds this half if they want a convincing best of 3 here. Remember, if they can win this one against the Heretics, it's straight through to the playoffs for them, and I'm sure we'll see some of these statistics pop up on your screen. It's Kicker leading the entry kills. Nothing really notable there, only 1 or 2 entry kills for the entire server right now, so nobody really leading the charge, nothing really of note.
Yeah, just been a little quiet here in this game, but I don't think he's been given the opportunities to shine for the moment. Well, maybe we'll see a little bit more of what he's made of coming later on into the game. I'll certainly be excited to see that, since he can be an absolutely dynamic and fantastic player to watch on his day, but at least for the first 8 rounds in this game, it hasn't been, and the score being all level might have been a factor.
Certainly could have been. Maka back with the AWP, James to oppose him on that CT side as Virtus.pro. They will go 3 players towards this Beast bomb site once again. Heretics, I'm sure they'll be playing standard. They've not been incurring a lot of nade damage in a lot of these rounds. So as the flashes pop in, Maka steals away the first once again. It's James making the mistake instead of Buster this time. Up retrieve, Virtus.pro at the disadvantage. And now they need to hold up the line. Buster's surely going to be challenged here and instantly goes down to Python. What aggressive play onto the B bomb site for Heretics. Bursting off the back of that opening frag from Maka. Just really wonderfully played.
And that's the second time Mac has done that as well, in basically the same spot, both for the AWP and the AWPed, shall we say, with the trying to play around with the edge of the smoke there with Virtus.pro, and Maka just able to hit that shot. Maybe it's something they know that VP tend to do when there's a smoke at the top of Banana, try and tease around the edge of it, and Maka just has the lineup every single time. And Heretics look to be able to take the lead here in this one. Kick it, just sitting inside the A-bomb site, trying to save his M4, same with Sanchi inside the library. Looks like they might just be able to hold on to this, and unless Heretics get their running shoes on, and Sanchi might be able to get one. There we go, Kiyoshima goes down. There's another one for Kika, so this is a good recovery in terms of the economy and trying to keep hold of those guns for VP, but that TCR economy is still pretty fat.
Yes, certainly, and it's only going to build with these convincing round wins. Even though a couple of exits do come through there from Virtus.pro, it's really not going to matter all too much. 5 rounds on the board for Heretics, and starting to feel confident here on Inferno. Of course, it's their map pick. We said it's a must-win if they're going to take this series, with Mirage being that kind of uneven ground for VP. I think they're confident on it as well. There are these 6 maps that they are really quite good on. They've not incurred a loss over the last 3 months either, so despite only playing it 2 times, you have to log 3 to actually even get onto that scoreline, that big graphic at the front of the stream. But it's Yakundar to sweep away the first shot. Lucky didn't see that one coming, and Heretics incur their first loss at the start of a round in about 3.
Yeah, so that early advantage now going the way of VP. Again, 4-man default here inside the A site. Yendikar tempted with the peek. He does decide to go with it and takes out Python. Looking for one more, just deploys the grenade instead to try and force the player back. And Yendikar still lines up on his angle, trying to look for that frag, but not going to be gifted to him at the moment. You can see the bomb has been lost right in front of Arch there, and Yendikar will take all of the control.
Yeah, super stuff there from Yakundar, just playing that arch position to perfection. It's all about peeking, swinging, those timings, playing off your teammate, and that's just a massive advantage of having 4 players towards the A bomb site for VP. Nothing Heretics could do right there. They walked right into the stack. I think the B bomb site, it might be what they default to for the rest of the half, to be perfectly honest. It seems to be the easier take. And Virtus.pro just holding up a really good staple over on A. I think that 3-2 setup, that's when you can start to see liabilities in the defense, but certainly no weakness there whatsoever. Not dropping a single man. That's the momentum breaker that we see on this T side. Of course, cash built up. I'm pretty sure we'll see Heretics buy for the next 2 or 3 rounds. Maka doesn't want to just throw away $6,000 for absolutely nothing at the end of this one. See what Virtus.pro does as a response in the next.
Yeah, you could just see how VP are pretty comfortable here on the CT sides. They can surrender brackets control without too much of a problem because they know they have that 4-man stack. They have the bait and switch play that they've been making work towards long. They have a crossfire from balcony towards site from the other side of A as well. So it's a really, really strong defense for Heretics to go up against. So despite them being given map control inside of mid for free, when it comes to the actual take, it's so tough.
Yeah, incredibly tough, practically impossible. 4 players, there's just no way to contend with it. And Virtus.pro, as I said, right at the dawn of this matchup, it's that dynamic CT setup, which really pays dividends for them. That aggressive banana control once again. The smoke's down, just choking Heretics away from this one. And Maka gets smacked with the HE grenade to start us off.
Yeah, Yakundar aggressively checking this, aggressively wrestling control away from Banana. So he's able to fall off that, relay the information to the rest of his team. Heretics aren't setting up for an immediate B play for the moment. And you can see Heretics are so afraid that VP have actually pushed even further down Banana. They have the AWPer watching that one. So Heretics, again, it's going to have to be an A-sided play once again. And VP just reading this at the moment. But Heretics trying to change things up all on their own as well.
Yeah, with the bomb stacked upon mid, they've got lots of options on the table, and it might be Buster on the menu to start things off here. If he overcommits over aggressors amongst the flashbangs, there's every opportunity that he goes down in this B bomb site full. Sanji on the Ray, as the reinforcements are radioed in, but no 3rd man to be played. It's instead Yakundar towards the bottom of mid. He's taking all of this control, wrapping Heretics in. It's deja vu back to the pistol, perhaps, as he sweeps away the first shot. Maka eliminated. That's the AWP gone. And now Buster, with the containment policy on the B bomb site, should be able to hold this one off. And with 20 seconds left, delaying this bomb plant, all of the headshots. The Molotov finally finds him, but it might be too little too late at the 10-second mark. It's all down to Python to try and hold this one at bay, but tick-tock, that bomb needs to go down, and it's not able to happen. 6-5, Virtus.pro, they take the lead.
Yeah, fantastic delay there from VP. The utility from Kika as well. The flashes were on point. So Heretics basically dabbing their way onto the B bomb site allows Buster a couple of free kills. And like I said, at the very end of the round with so little time, there's only so much you can do, and that panic starts to set in for the T side. As VP, they will retake the lead here, and Heretics, they will just take the eco here in this situation. They have plenty of money on Maka and Kiyoshima, but no investment either way.
I've got to say that despite this game looking quite close, touch and go, the odds have stayed stable since the start. 1.2 to around 5 for Heretics, and that's considering they've looked competitive on this T side. I think that's because I think the bettors know what's going to come when Virtus.pro get onto their own terrorist side. It's going to be that flashy style of play that we often see. And then going on to Dust 2 as well, it might be a similar show. 2 quick kills towards the A-bomb site, challenging just kick it inside the pit. M4 at the ready and needs to fire through for at least 1 or 2. As the bomb wraps in, they're not going to check him here. So with the smoke's gone, that does isolate him inside the mini pit. But do Heretics know that he's sneakily stayed inside right in below?
It would be a massive misplay if they don't realize that they haven't checked it. The rest of VP can work their way in for this retake now. Maka on the AWP for the T side is the only potent piece of weaponry, and he's been taken out of the equation by Edgar as Kika able to open up the site as well. And now Lucky from up above takes out 1, and that bomb is ticking down so low at this point, but it's not planted for that upper position, and Jenskar's able to make sure he can't push far enough to get an angle onto the diffuser. So VP pick up the round, but you can't be leaving it that close.
No, 1 versus 2 for the captain, and it's not going to happen there for Lucky. As soon as you're sat inside the apartments with only a Glock to your name and a terrible bomb plant, it's really round over. Virtus.pro know it. They bounce right on that defuse and secure their 7th. It's a double AWP setup for the VP side. That's the change of pace they go for at the end of this first half. As Heretics, they'll double dip once again. Remember, Raptoros, that economy, it was so stable earlier on today, and it's still Mac with that AWP. Full set of nades going into round number 13 as they sprawl for control again.
Yendikar might be tempted to try and aggressively push this one once again. Lucky has to deploy the smoke to try and get out, and Yendikar just lined it up through the smoke. And that is another player down, and another from Heretics as well. Kiyoshima going down early as well. So these aggressive peaks, these aggressive pushes from VP now, these smoke kills are really paying dividends, and Python all of a sudden is the only player left on the side of Heretics against 5 fairly healthy VP players.
Yeah, that's all she wrote for the 13th. Unlucky for some, certainly for Heretics. It was all down to the smoke kills. Shadow spotted. Jane can't connect with any more than a tag. So Python able to remove a rifle from the equation in the meantime. This isn't going to phase Virtus.pro all too much, though, Raptoros. It's a pretty simple round to take. They've got plenty of money going into the final 2 rounds of this half as we see the penultimate one of their CT side. 10-5 certainly on the board here. As Heretics, they'll have buys in the next 2. Loss bonus firmly built up. They've got that double-edged sword of having such a heavy bank and then the extra bonus when they start incurring those heavy losses. VP, they'll be able to buy into the next 2 as well. Won't see any ecos from here on out. It's Heretics. They need to contend for those openings once again. And Maka deprived of that AWP. It's going to be incredibly difficult to stretch onto Banana to find those shots against an aggressive Virtus.pro side.
Most of the rounds that Heretics have won have come off the back of an opening pick from Maka as well. So not having that AWP is just going to cause them a huge amount of problems. Python, though, able to open up onto Kirkut, though. So Heretics at least a little positive here coming into round 14. It's something that they can build off of, but they still have only those 3 AKs and those 2 MAC-10s. Maybe if they can try and recover a weapon or 2 here, that would be great. But there's the flash, and Yedika is just able to peek off for the back of that. Maka goes down. The trade is available, though, so at least Heretics still hold the man advantage.
Yeah, still so much more work to be done, and challenging Buster on Banana is definitely not the easier option with the AWP. He's got the sniper rifle at the ready and should be challenged by Lucky in the next couple of seconds. Of course, if this AWP whiffs, then it gives the MAC-10 a real chance, especially if he's backed up by a rifle here. Expect him to get up close and personal, but as soon as a shoulder is spotted, he actually finds the collat. That's sensational and should end the round in its tracks.
Buster shuts down the Banana push, and Heretics wondering what the hell has happened. Vastnik is able to recover the bomb, but their chances in this round are minimal, especially with 30 seconds left on the clock. And, well, it's going to have to be an A-site play at this point. Don't really have time to go back through Banana and try and find some progress towards B, and now Kiyoshima, first point of contact here, able to deploy the smoke, might isolate the player in pit or not, because James is just quick enough on that up to take out the player. Wasnik's able to trade, but 10 seconds left remaining, 1 versus 2, a 1 versus 1 immediately on the site as he decides to punch in those digits.
Yeah, absolutely has to. Round over if he doesn't, and the AK-47 needs to strike in for both. Smoke away to create a diversion, but James still with the angle. He's not faked, hits the tag regardless. Wasnik really doesn't have a chance in this one. 11 HP, surely over from Buster from the flank. He's got a flurry of utility to throw into the mini pit if needed as well. So maneuvering onto this A bomb site. James hasn't radioed it through, and the incendiary grenade forcing him into the open. Surely round over here as the tap comes in on that bomb. A 9th for Virtus.pro right there, not needing to over-aggress. And I've got to say, I hate to say it, Kiyoshima made the key mistake. He threw the smoke grenade down and peeked before it bloomed. You've got to know with James still in the server that he is the threat with the AWP on this A bomb site. As soon as you see Buster find a couple of shots, you know that that's not at the expense of James Sniper. It's either James soloing or maybe Buster picking up that secondary sniper rifle. You'll never ever see Buster playing the solo sniper. So that should have been something that Heretics could have read into. It's much easier from the caster desk as we've got all of this information at the ready.
It absolutely is. I completely agree with you. Kyo just getting a little bit too over-eager with the push on towards the A site, and well, you can understand that, especially with how much time was remaining, but still a bit of a miss by Yendikar with the check over. The grenade doesn't quite land the way he expected to. It goes in his own face, and now he has to jump back through the Molotov and take yet more damage as the Heretic players continue to push, and they find the entry onto Buster. So Yendikar, he does have the support of Sanji here, but that support is no longer, as Yendikar has to hold down this B bomb site. Good enough for 2, but that's all he's going to get.
That's a sensational amount of damage. Also nailing the headshot onto Python in the meantime, down to 10 HP, but I don't think Kickit has a chance in this one. He's about to rotate and wrap in. Bomb not down, and Wasink stuck on Banana. AK retrieved, and Kickit can create the diversion. He's expectant of the flank, not the late Banana aggression. And how is Wasink going to get back onto this bomb? He's going to steal it back down Banana right now, and surely Quickit has all of the information. So wrapping through CT spawn, he'll likely have an opportunity on the cross, but this has to be a lightning fast shot right now. I don't think Wasink knows what he's walking into, and Quickit has to stay silent on his effort, on his attempt. The bomb out. Oh, a missed shot. And Wasink, he's got the angle and the headshot for 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Down to the 1 versus round in the final round of the first half. It all started off from this fantastic sequence from Yendikar there, bringing the 3rd player down low as well. Makes it a little bit easier for them, but still, Wasnik able to close up the rounds there. After a bit of a panic towards the B side, it has to be said.
Yeah, what a great half from Yekandar and Kicker. Right at the top of that scoreboard, 31 frags between the two of them. And this is basically just a Yekandar and James show there as we go to the graphics. 16 kills on your CT side of Inferno. Definitely something to be proud about. And we know that that favorable T side for Virtus.pro is coming up. That's why the betting odds haven't shifted. That's why none of the momentum is really shifted in this series as of the halftime mark. And knowing that Dust 2 is coming up next as well, that just adds extra insult to injury. We could very easily be going to that aforementioned 2-0. And Virtus.pro, if they take a pistol here, they're one step closer to booking their spot in the playoffs.
Pistol round is absolutely crucial in this one. Kiyoshima looking for the peek down Banana, but Buster is expecting it, able to get the bang through. So Heretics down 1 man early on in this second pistol round, a round that would be very, very nice for them to pick up, but they have to play from behind. VP a little bit delayed getting onto the B bomb site thanks to the utility they're deploying, but Maka from the back line's able to take out one. Rastik is good enough to get a kill as well as Maka continues to pressure as James cowering in the corner with just his Glock in hand. Can't get anything done, and now it's Buster 1 versus 3.
Needs to connect so many headshots here, and Wazink's going to instantly shut him away. That was a must-win for the Heretics, and they absolutely play it perfectly. Right down middle, taking a strategy out of the Virtus.pro book to just absolutely bombard Banana there. 3 players right down and behind, and so many smoke shots found as well. We can't let that go amiss. Quite fortunate to actually drop that bomb in a really temperamental spot. And Virtus.pro put on the back foot. It won't be the force buy coming into round number 2. They want the AK-47s carried through into the next. And knowing they'll likely be against a bonus, Heretics really not too much to work with either. It's the SMGs. Better to build up some cash here in round number 17, but knowing this will be AK-47s in the next Virtus.pro, it would likely mean a 10-8 scoreline before we really get into the brunt of this second half.
Keo, excuse me, not Chemo, Keo, will be able to make up for his mistake in that pistol round with a neat little kill with the SMG, as Kika was basically burning alive inside a banana, and Heretics are able to push up and establish a bit of a crossfire inside this position as well. So options limited here for VP, especially with Maka hitting shots direct to the head of Buster. So VP, as expected, not getting much done on the pistols. And Heretics are able to farm up at least a little bit of cash here. The VP players are all trapped inside a mid, and that flank does come through from Keo, as he's able to line his pockets with those SMG kills. Yeah, that's just a cash farming show, really. 9-8 right now. Heretics do draw that scoreline closer to level, but this is where the real problems are going to incur. Those AK-47s, as I mentioned, the single Galil for Sanji, are much superior buy here from Virtus.pro. Expect a slower round. They don't want to contend up close and personal with these Heretics SMGs, and maybe Heretics might just throw a couple of smokes down Banana, try and get up close and personal once again. They need to negate the close impact of these SMGs, and well, it's just not going to happen. Buster instantly eviscerates the first, keeps it down to evens as Kicker wants to chip and chime in, smoke over the top, and once this peek going through from the broken wall, it gives you such a swing advantage. Flashbang forces at least the first back. That's Lucky unable to engage, and as the second incen goes over the top, Heretics still trying to cling onto this banana control. Oh, and Keo directly into the fire, into the firefight, and Kikit's able to take him down. So another little aggressive peek there from Keo that hasn't worked out. It was the same situation there in the pistol round. You can understand it, though, with the SMG looking to try and close the distance, but all it does is surrender the kill to that VP side, and now they can try and play off the back of this one with the man advantage that they have, the weapons advantage as well, because a couple of the Heretics players taking this as a bit of a bonus round, and there's the opening from Yekintar. Yeah, really sad stuff there. Heretics, they do have this crossfire alongside A, and unless Virtus.pro make a massive mistake and maybe actually gifted by that smoke, this could really go the other way against the SMGs. VB have to be very careful right now. This bomb plant is actually going to be a little difficult, and no spray coming through these clouds. The bomb not actually delayed or denied. Instead, they get off it, trying to take the firefight. Instead, Lucky, Wazink, both finding successes. Staying alive, and there's another one. Deeg does connect, and Kicker needs to finish this one off, but up against the SMG, I don't know if it's even possible right now. He needs to connect a lightning fast headshot, and Wazink's good enough to finish off the job. 9-9 even Stevens. Heretics, how have they pulled that one out the bag? The patience works out. Lucky with a great sequence here with the UMP. Pulls out the Deagle and tags so many players direct into the chest. It's not the flashiest of highlights, but it's one that's won Heretics the round. Yeah, sensational stuff, and you see just Wazink doing his job with the SMG, staying alive for as long as possible, not over-facing against the AK-47s, and just perfect play there from Heretics in the 4 versus 2. Those odds, they close, but only ever so slightly, as the bettors at least predict. Virtus.pro, they're the heavy favourites. Remember, boys and girls, those are the favourites for just this first map, so as we go to Dust 2, they'll reset, and we'll get to see them once again. We will. Virtus.pro, though, on the 4th spy here, looking to try and establish control of Banana. They have already done so. Kiyoshima waiting with the utility to try and support Lucky, who's inside of Ruins at the moment. There's the flash through from Kyo. Just going to put a question mark in the minds of Virtus.pro, as they'll have to try and recover this game. They've been brought level by a couple of great rounds from Heretics. And that previous one, definitely one they shouldn't have won, but they got it across the line. Absolutely. Virtus.pro looking to pressure this B bomb site, and it's gone completely noticed here by Heretics. Maka finally with the rotation across. We've now got an AWP in play for this B defense. And Buster being the first man in, those smokes have to go down. And this is quite the sturdy setup. It was actually looking weak at the 1:20 mark, but really stabilizing some control. Unfortunately, that all pulled over towards the A-bomb site once again.
Here are the counter nades, though. One smoke grenade to isolate the execute here from Virtus.pro. And as Keo on the corner needs to connect with a couple, that Molotov's going to cause complications, forces him into the open. What was Buster looking at? It fortunately does get traded, as Lucky has to fall away behind the smoke. Bomb now can go down. I don't think Heretics can actually delay or deny this one. But Virtus.pro, no real solid afterplants, no utility to hold this one off.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough, especially with the numbers advantage. Well, numbers advantage that they have helps Heretics here on the retake, as now Lucky able to open things up. Python with the trade there as well. Jame left all alone, and it's a methodical retake there for Heretics as they get themselves up to double digits first. And there we go, 9 to 10 at the moment. And Heretics, well, we said at the very start of the game that they needed to pick this map up if they're going to have a chance in this series. And it looks like on their CT side, they are starting to get the ball rolling, which is so, so important.
Yeah, when you dig your teeth into these previous matchups for Virtus.pro, actually within LOOT.BET Season 8, they've taken care of AGF and Hellraisers thus far. AGF actually dropping a map. That map was Inferno. It's one of the 4 losses they've incurred on this map over the last couple of months. Can they rack up another one here? It'll be Heretics on the receiving end, and I guess we're going to a 3rd map if that's the case. See if Virtus.pro can hold up the line. A lot of these Inferno bouts have been going incredibly touch and go, incredibly close. Going to, I think, triple overtime for that AGF matchup.
Python with a neat little kill on the USP there, interestingly enough. Able to grab himself an AK and fall away. But VP, they're going to just return to this B-bomb site where Kyo lies in wait here in dark. Lucky boosted up on new box as well. Kyo takes out Buster. Might be able to deploy the smoke to try and keep those VP players at bay, but not required for the moment.
Certainly not. Smoke grenades down. That's a funky one from Kyo once again. Just drops it in the middle of this bomb site, but shouldn't really isolate anything here. Lucky certainly nailing the headshots there. Bit of support on the back of this B bomb site. Should be nicely contained as Kyo racking up another one. A massive triple kill there on the B site. As Sanji, not really much that he can do apart from a little bit of damage before this one comes to a close. Smokes away. Only Lucky left to stand here on B. And that smoke grenade towards the CT spawn's good, but I'm sure that this punishment will instantly come through, and Lucky doesn't even need it. 9 to 11 as Heretics establish this lead.
Yeah, you pointed out the slightly dodgy smoke there from Kyo, but it did tempt a player to peek directly into Lucky's crosshair, who was boosted on top of new box. So in a way, it was sort of beneficial for them there, trying to bait a player into peeking so you can get a free kill. But then again, you know, with how some of these rounds have gone, I wouldn't be surprised if that was an actual mistake rather than something deliberate.
Yeah, it just seems really weird. I just don't know what they're doing with that utility. Kyo is often a really funky player when it comes to that utility usage. I feel like that's where the main mistakes in his game actually does lie. Nevertheless, still in the 11th round regardless, and Virtus.pro eating the tactical timeout as a response. Inferno being the sticking point for them. And you mentioned it at the very start of this broadcast that if the Heretics have any chance here, it's on Inferno. And that's not just in these 3 maps that we'll potentially get to see today, but all 7 maps in the whole map pool.
Yeah, it's, well, Heretics still hold the lead here in this one. 2 rounds is their advantage. And up against the Eco should be 3 rounds to their advantage. But let's see if Virtus.pro have any sort of response here with this fast play through Banana. And Lucky goes down after getting caught by the fire. There's the second entry as well from Buster. So it looks so good here for VP in this round. The rifles working out. They are delivering. And now the B-bomb site post-plant can be established.
I'm certain Heretics have to save right now. They can't give away this cash. They've been so fortunate to build up over the last couple. And Virtus.pro finally finding a gap there. It's the first round Heretics decide to play aggressive on Banana and totally punished by the pistols. Up close and personal. Remember, it's just that single Molotov to force Kyo out into the open. And there's just nothing that he can do about that. A sensational headshot from Sanji. That eliminates one of these rifles. And he is not done and dusted. He wants 2 more for his troubles. With Maka sat within the CT spawn, he might be closed in right now. Virtus.pro, they will aggress into this position, and with the library room completely under lock and key, Wazik in the back lines. See if the AK-47 can do all too much here. Should just drop the single pistol. No rifle retrieved, as both of these AK and M4 combinations are carried through. It's the AWP for Maka.
It is, as that was a bit of a surprise round there for VP to pick up. Just completely steamrolling onto the B bomb site. Heretics completely unprepared, playing in the positions that they were. The Molotov into sandbox causing a huge problem for Lucky, having to peek out into the open and gets cut down. So good round there for VP. Heretics has still got enough money in the bank to get a buy and a double up setup at that into this round, but if they drop this, then, well, it's going to be a world of hurt from this point forwards for them in terms of the money. Another fast play here for VP. Unfortunately, they've lost the bomb inside a short as well, and Python, he's been able to spot out a couple of players. He completely unchecked there in the library, but Buster's able to readjust with the 180.
Oh, secondary headshot as well for Buster. That triples his kills up here on this T side. Bomb down, Keo unlucky, pressured. Do they even decide to go for this one? Lucky staying put with the AWP on Banana right now, and Keo just cannot afford to drop that secondary rifle. Keeping these alive, give them something to work with over in the next. But what a sensational round right there from Virtus.pro. It's Buster doing absolutely everything, twisting and turning for those frags, and Heretics just really can't stand up to that firefight there on the A-bomb site. This one's certainly going the distance, and Virtus.pro not wanting to hunt. Of course, their money is at a teeter-totter point where it's not really built up to all too much here. 11-11 though, and Heretics economy is now at breaking point.
Yeah, it is the best you can do on those players that died. Probably just get a couple of pistols out there and look to try and get the investment into the next round. Unless they decide to go for the force, I don't think they will, however, but it's certainly an option that's open to them, especially since the VP economy isn't too established at that point. You do have a couple of rich players, Buster and Yertika, have a lot of money in the bank, but it looks like Heretics are going for the force, though. They've gone for a couple of SMGs onto those players with low money. The armor out there as well, healthy amount of utility, so it's not the worst force I've ever seen.
No, certainly isn't. They want to contend for each and every one of these rounds going forward. The unfortunate factor is if VP win this one, they're up to probably 13 rounds. Keo, that was a fully blind spray away. This banana control being contested by both sides, and it's Maka again to slide in. The smokes go down. That's the stalemate. And Virtus.pro, they might have just lost the round already.
Heretics continue to surprise me. That was a pretty ballsy play there through Banana, and Keo just getting very lucky indeed with the spray down while being completely blind, and all of a sudden Heretics, there's just 2 more players left to find, and they've also got a player pushing down through second mid underneath as well, as VP are quickly going to get closed in on by the likes of Asniak here. They don't have any sort of map control to work with. They have to check every single corner from this point forwards.
Yeah, certainly. 45 seconds, trying to save these perhaps, and I mean, no opportunity for a bomb plant at the 40-second mark. Maybe if Heretics make a mistake, there might be a way back into this one, but I just can't see that happening with Wazink right at the bottom of mid, all of this control taken and only 30 seconds left to play. I would keep these angles, keep these AKs, and just give away the round at this point. You might be giving away 2 for your troubles. Remember the VP economy. It's a bit polarized. You've got Buster and Yekandar with about 15,000 between the 2 of them, but nobody else with anything to work with. Saving these 2 rifles, especially the AWP, costly as it is, it's so important. No loss bonus for these final 2 members, but they're fully equipped to go into the next.
Yeah, Heretics, such an important round for them to pick up as well, because they were on the edge of breaking point themselves, having 4 spot into the round, and to be able to get a result like that, that sets themselves up very well for the end of this game. It's quickly drawing to a close here, perhaps, unless we go to an insane amount of overtimes, but I mean, it might feel like that's the sort of game that gets to that point. But VP still behind at this stage, just the 1 round, and they have a comfortable buy into this as well. So they're not down and out yet. Certainly not just being that 1 round behind, but Heretics, maybe they can get something more off the back of that surprise round.
Yes, certainly. That's their way back into this one. It would have been 13-11 to Virtus.pro if they would have maybe found a couple of kills there on Banana. Just doesn't work out. 1 minute 30, and this one seems to be just speed into the A bomb site. Wasik finds the first. Mini Pit does get checked, and it's quicker to open up that all-important headshot there. 3 players over for side B. Heretics might be resigned to the saving once again. I can't see them getting all too much. They need a frag right now, otherwise they run the risk of losing this AWP. The economy, it's at a really scary spot where the buy is okay going into the next, but certainly not perfect. And I think they want to double dip into this A bomb site right now. James got the angle, spots the shoulder, Keo gone. Molotov through, and Heretics, they have to bail once again.
Yeah, they have to get out of there, although the player in apartments tempted about going for another attempt, but Maka just deploying the smoke, so he's able to get away a little bit better. I was slightly concerned about the triple stack towards Pit there for VP, especially considering Heretics still had HE grenades and Molotovs on their side, but they just didn't get the opportunity to deploy those pieces of utility to flush out those VP players. So especially with the with James AWP just shutting down Heretics as they decide to push in. There's simply no opportunity in the rest of that round to get anything done. But level 12 to 12 now, as this game very, very close here on Inferno. But like I said, and I've been saying throughout this game, Heretics are the ones that need this map if they're going to have a chance in this series.
Yes, this is an absolutely must-win Raptoros, and this round also. Maka with the AWP, James the challenger here on that T side, as that nade doesn't actually pay any dividends. But out of control once again from Virtus.pro, setting up outside this chamber. Now, primed to go for the execute. Heretics, they've got 2 players over towards this curly letter with Python on the fast rotate playing arch side, Rap side. It's 1 minute 20, and VP very comfortable to let the clock tick away. As they get to the 30-40 second mark, expect these nades to come through. But still with Yakandar towards this A bomb site, he can be pressuring in for information. Of course, that nade is probably going to lock Python in place. It's a little bit of intel gained, but Virtus.pro, we can see it's a fake. All 5 players going over to B. Keo, the first to be challenged.
Has to hold strong. He has Lucky inside the site with him as well. The smoke extension to give him a little bit more space in the repositioning, though. VP pushing inside of CT, and they've been able to find the kill onto Python, and now they've isolated these 2 players inside of the B site, but they still can't find the frags just yet. Waiting out the smokes now are Heretics to see if they can really prevent this further push. It's a bit of a stalemate here towards the B bomb site at the moment. VP is just so nervous to work their way in because they know there's a presence that has now very much been dealt with. So just a little delay there towards the B bomb site, but VP good enough to be able to close it out. Although Maka, I mean, I thought there was going to be a collateral there, but just the one before he goes down himself.
Certainly. James is so quick on the response. In Virtus.pro, you see their comfort here at the end of Inferno. We're at a very tight scoreline and still very happy to sit amongst 4 CTs and try and take those fights, knowing that they, on paper, they're the better team. They've got the more firepower in the server right now, and Heretics finally broken back to the pistols. They don't have any Kevlar to work with, and they want the buy in the next. This should surely be 14 to 12. We've seen a lot of flair in these rounds. Heretics getting aggressive most of the time. This time into the apartments where Virtus.pro have to contain, they have to contest. They've got to be ready for this, and they absolutely are. 2 quick kills, and there's the 3rd.
Maka was optimistic, but you kind of have to be in a round such as this, where you don't have much to work with the guns. And Virtus.pro able to pick up all 5, and all remain on 100 HP as well. So a very clean round for VP in that one. And Heretics, this is going to be their last gasp attempt round. This is going to be, well, if they drop this round, they'll only be on very weak guns for what would be the map point round. So a double op setup here for Heretics. Full investments, just the chest Kevlar. Vasnek the only one with a helmet, so they're really trying to scrap together this. And, well, they've got the utility to work with. They have that double op. I think this is probably one of their better chances.
Yeah, certainly. The double AWP, and Heretics just want to pull this one away. James instantly domed, and Maka there to convert onto the second as well. Can now backtrack to the arch side, knowing that They've lost Lucky towards the B bomb site. He can rotate over, and Virtus.pro playing with a disadvantage.
Yeah, VP, what's the option now for them? They're sort of caught in two lines at the moment. Just hanging around in mid. Sanji just waiting here inside a boiler, waiting for his team to catch up to him before they can work as that three-man squad, perhaps, onto this A bomb site. But Heretics have spread themselves pretty evenly, 2 on each bomb site at the moment. Just waiting for VP to make the move. And with 50 seconds left on the clock, still plenty of time to get this done.
Yeah, that's certainly the case. Virtus.pro should eventuate towards A, but with Kicker finding that shot, it leaves Kiyoshima totally isolated behind the curly letter. M4 in hand and no utility to hold this force back. And no rotate for Heretics. This could be a massive mistake. Buster's holding the flank over on the A bomb site, and Keo now has to do absolutely everything. Needs both of these shots. There's the first, and where's the trade? It's not coming through at the 20-second mark. No wrap, no rotate, but Buster starting to close in with his crosshair. Another headshot for his troubles, but hasn't spotted out Waznik. He finally finds the shot. 10 seconds on the clock, tick-tock, as Keo needs to wrap and rotate in for the 1 versus 2.
Where's the communication from Heretics? Waznik was caught with his pants down there, and now Kiyoshima 1 versus 2 on the A bomb site, and VP looking to try and get themselves the first of a couple of map points in this series. And Buster lying in wait inside the pit. Sanji inside the site itself as Keo works himself through towards that long cubby, trying to spot out the heads, and he's found one, but the instant response is there. Buster able to convert, and VP map point.
Certainly thought Keo had a chance there. That first headshot lightning fast. I hope we get to see it again on the replay, Raptoros. He's such a star and flary player at times. He sometimes goes missing in these series, but here on Inferno, he's been great, and that's the headshot I'm talking about. Makes you feel like he has a real chance if he connects the other one. 15-12 in Virtus.pro. They've got 3 chances to close.
3 chances to get it over the line and take this series to a 1-0 advantage in their favor. But Heretics forced up into this. The flash is brilliant. Kiko's able to convert. Hasn't checked Lucky, though. Not expecting the double stack towards the sandbags. And Lucky trying to chase players around the corner. He's found one more as well. He tries to keep Heretics in this game and falls away. And Heretics, they might have some life in them yet.
Yeah, that's a single-handed play to really lock away the B bomb site. If Lucky falls, the map does as well. 13 rounds, definitely a possibility for Heretics at this point, as Buster looking to pressure for control towards B once more. He's been the lurker on this Virtus.pro side, always just such a temperamental player. Let's see if Lucky can actually rack in the angle. He spots out the shot, and he's able to find it. That's a triple kill from Lucky here in round number 28, as the bomb wraps and rotates through. I think Sanji, he's got a lot of work to do. A 1 versus 3. He will rotate through the back lines, and will Lucky be aware of this one. AK in hand, and lots more to be done. He does spot him out, and what a headshot to close. Lucky, that's such a round.
4K for Lucky, as kick it with the initial entry, but Lucky just popping out and popping off. And Lucky continuing on his sequence throughout that round as well. So that's a great little round for Heretics to pick up. They, of course, need to pick up all of them to try and take it to overtime, but just 2 more wins to go. And then we start to talk about overtime. But Heretics, they certainly still have a chance here in this one. It's not all done just yet, but VP could just so easily explode into one of these rounds and take it all.
Yeah, we know how explosive they are. That's definitely the key word to use. And it's his AK-47s whipped out in round number 29 to try and do the trick for one final moment. Heretics, a standard defense. They've got 3 towards A, 2 on this B bomb site. Keo Lucky holding up that advantage. Just blasted initially by the nade. No idea how Yekendar's able to even find a kill right there, but it's traded right back from Wazink, and Buster on the cross once again has to find something sensational. He's only got Keo to deal with. Lucky's rotated and wrapped away knowing that Python's on 4 HP. So Buster needs to turn around, and Keo should be able to spot him here. That might just end the round in its tracks. Jamie's totally isolated. Another whiffed smoke for Keo. as James rotates through. Keo wants to get hyper-aggressive on this one, and James easily able to find him. That might be the mistake, as James cannot connect. Heretics one away from OT.
Oh, that was such a close round, potentially, because Jamie's been in those situations before. There's 1v3s and could have certainly converted it, but not fast enough on the trigger when push came to shove. 15-14. Heretics just a single round win now, and they have a chance in OT. Virtus.pro, they want to end this one before it gets to that point. That is for sure. But they're a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to the utility and when it comes to the weaponry as well. Sanji's only on a Mach 10, and they'll be prevented from taking any more banana control thanks to the CT utility.
Yeah, we've really not seen Virtus.pro's best today on this terrorist side, and it really does look like we're going to overtime at this point. Heretics with all of the momentum. Keo does get blasted by an initial HE, but so much more work to be done here. Raptoros by Virtus.pro to close this one out.
They'll just slow down the pace now. No aggressive peaks. Heretics, similarly so for them. They don't want to be aggressive in around such as this. They're playing very, very conservative. Far back on the sites they go.
And this will be the wrap through. Molotov down for Arch side. Forces Maka back. He's got the AWP in hand, as he always has. And Heretics, this is a very standard defense. Just the 3-2 as we're used to seeing. And VP, a lot of time left on the clock. Down to the 40-second mark. Flashes through, wanting to challenge Maka first. Smokes away and AK's through. They're able to spray through the smoke, and Yekindar finds the opening. That isolates just 2 players inside the pit on this A-bomb site, and that Molotov adds complications to the party. Wazink traded. Inside the smoke, they need to find another one, but gone completely incognito has Python. He hasn't been spotted. Here comes the spray away. Surely Virtus.pro know. They've got all of the intel, but they cannot connect with the shots. It's the knife out, and Python, he does go down in the map with him. 16-14, an absolute guarantee as Virtus.pro. It was touch and go, but they finally finish off this first map. What a map it was.
I have no idea what we were watching there in that final round. Virtus.pro get it across the line by the skin of their teeth and lead the series 1-0 into the next.
Certainly. Dust 2 on the cards next. That's the second map of this series is Virtus.pro's pick. Make sure you join us back here. Just under 10 minutes time for that one. We'll see you shortly.
Wow, very good. Let me show
Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree,
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's map number 2, Virtus.pro Heretics. They're going live on Dust 2 for this second map of this series. Remember, there's a playoffs spot in the balance, a 3-0 scoreline in this Swiss system for one of these two teams. Virtus.pro heavily favored, of course, as they go to their map pick of Dust.
Yeah, absolutely. So Heretics very narrowly dropping that first map, which was their own map pick, and now we head on to the home field for Virtus.pro, Dust 2, and it's going to be, all things considered, a big struggle for Heretics on this map, but it's not one that's foreign to them at all. Definitely have their own tricks in the bag that they're able to pull out in this one, but VP definitely the favourites to take the series 2-0, and with the 9th round win, that also goes into their favour as well. So as if it wasn't going to be difficult already for Heretics.
Yeah, remember, 9 out of the last 10 maps Virtus.pro here on Dust, they've been able to successfully take, most of the time with massive score lines as well. When you actually break down the statistics, this series really does start to get scary. Let's look at that for VP. A previous win against just so many teams here. Cyber Legacy, Saw, even taking wins against Godsent, K23, and Endpoint. Only one loss on record over the last couple of months. That was just over 1 month ago, Raptoros, against Gambit Youngsters, now promoted to that full Gambit roster. That was, of course, with Hobbit in the lurks as well. So definitely a really big roster, and only losing that one 16-14. So maybe if one round goes the other way, they're literally sitting 10-10 on this map right now. And Heretics, I don't think they're going to be massively confident going into this.
Yeah, but of course they brought it pretty close there on Inferno after it was looking like VP were starting to get in gear. And a positive start here on Dust 2 might actually very much help out the Heretics. They're expecting this push through the upper tunnels inside of B, and they've been able to find the frags, but there's the response from Virtus.pro. Kika good enough for 2 headshots and bomb control as well, so VP have already responded with the rotations, and Heretics still yet to even attempt to try and retake this bomb at the moment. So it was potentially looking like a good round until Kika decided that he wanted 2 headshots to his name already.
Yeah, that is absolutely sensational. That is really a round turner and a head twister right there. At the 70-second mark, Heretics, they're still no closer to this C4. It's control that Virtus.pro have actually neglected and backed off. If they had taken, I think, upper B control, they would have probably had the round in the bag already. But contending with this Glock of Keo towards the middle of the map, that's definitely dangerous, as he's going for even more onto Yekindar. The USPS at the ready, but cannot connect with the headshots.
He always looking threatening and gets another little tag onto Yekindar. So forcing him back off the angle. James here inside the short spots out one before falling away, but he's going to be quickly closed in on at the moment. He can hot-foot himself all the way back inside the site itself and line up for a neat little headshot. Looks for more as well as he tries to hide away from the shots in response, but James is somehow still alive here in this situation as Heretics try to close the gap with the Glocks, but James is so damn good with the double headshot at the end.
That is absolutely sensational there. James' job is to stay alive as much as possible, for as long as possible as well. You see him bunny hopping back to the A bomb site, knife in hand, just to retain that lead, and it's him and Kicker to do everything here. Keo, a nice performance towards mid, but these stunning headshots, you never stand a chance. And just look at Jamie, he's not really over-facing here. Only in the 1 versus 3 does he feel confident enough to peek with his full body. Up until then, it's fast flicks, quick dips, 1-0 VP.
Yeah, brilliant stuff indeed. Heretics onto the Glocks once again. Quick control of mid as they try to tease with the prospect of those doors, but not pushing through just yet. Virtus.pro, 3 players here inside a short, so Heretics going to, well, have the meat grinder peek into them, as is the opposite of what I usually say in that situation. VP should be an easy round for them as they try to clean up the rest of these kills. Kiyoshima down onto 4 HP, not long for this server at all. So a very quick round results in Virtus.pro second.
Absolutely, and keeping these 3 rifles alive as well, only dropping the SMGs there, really rolls that cash in the right direction. An early AWP for James on this CT side. He's got enough money for that utility as well, so a fairly sturdy buy, all things considered. Heretics do match it with an AWP of Mac Zone, and those AK-47s to work with going into round number 3. Expect a more default, just standard stance, but out of control or upper B control, I should say, taken, with that bomb just isolated towards the T-spawn.
A little aggressive early stance towards long there for Virtus.pro. They'll decide to back off of this one and readjust to a more typical setup. Jame waiting for any aggression here inside of the, pushing through the mid doors, and he might be gifted with a kill. There we go. Wasnik just peeks straight up into the big green gun of the Russian AWP, and Python's not going to peek and trade off of that. He's, well, certainly a respectable decision considering how Jame can line up those shots so easily.
I've got to say, that is a massive mistake from Wasink as well. There's nobody to trade off him if you are pushing through those mid double doors, especially when you think there might be an AWP in play. Funnily enough, Jame has got it out fairly early for this CT side. You usually do see just 5 automatic rifles, a couple of FAMASes, maybe even retaining a couple of SMGs into the mix. But that mid control is oh so important, and Jame is going to be there pretty much at every single account, either there or on this A ramp area. This time it's of course mid, where he retains that position, and even with the smoke grenade towards the chamber of this B bomb site, I think they want to challenge Jame once again here.
Oh, he gets one through the smoke as well. Just a prediction shot as they try to make their way through. The random spam doesn't connect any further, but I think Jame has done all that he needs to do here. Heretics looking to try and get inside the B bomb site. Buster's there to stand tall and takes out Maka to finish off the round for VP.
Interestingly enough, Virtus.pro actually had the opportunity to go for the double AWP setup there. It was actually sat on the floor, but deciding not to pick up Maka's AWP instead. That was Buster making the decision, going for the AK-47, which he was able to retrieve at the end of that round. So Virtus.pro come in with this one a wholesome buy, and Heretics anything but. The Deagles in hand, couple of flashbangs. Expect something fast towards long here with only Sanji holding up the line, single FAMAS in hand, but those incendiaries are going to be brutal at every single point. If you don't have smoke grenades for a long, you're pretty much just down dead to rights.
Yeah, just running to their deaths at the moment are Heretics, as VP will just pick them off one by one by one. Python, the only player left alive with just a Deagle in hand, no armor, no utility at all, so it's going to be 4-0 here for VP. And Heretics still yet to get started here on Dust 2, and well, if they were going to have a chance in this map, then maybe they would have hoped for a bit more of a positive start, as Python's time is limited.
Certainly, and Virtus.pro certainly feeling it right now. They're happy to be here on Dust 2 after such a narrow win on Inferno. Could have certainly went to overtime, could have even went to Heretics in regulation. What a comeback on that CT side, just unable to close it out in the end. Virtus.pro, I think they'll be paying Heretics a lot more respect coming into this second map, and up against the AK-47's the full buy once again. That's certainly going to be the pace here in this 5th round. AWP for mid, and Maka, he's just going to contend with this early control. He's just holding away with this AWP and bomb towards the middle of the map. Very dangerous. Virtus.pro playing Forum long, expecting something faster towards this side of the map for Heretics. It doesn't come through, though. It's mid control. Expect maybe even the B burst with Lucky holding from the upper B tons.
Yeah, Yakindar waiting for the aggression. The one that snuck through into that left side cubby from the CT's perspective there, so yeah, Yakindar has to be so careful here that he doesn't overextend too much from this position, and ooh, he's just going to be able to get away, but there's already been a push through from the Heretics player. There's Wasink there, able to find the kill on to kick it. So great patience there from Wasink, and Buster now deciding to take a little bit of aggression here through the upper tunnels. Spots out one. Python caught with the grenade out and trying to jump away. Not successful in doing so. So I mean, at least there's a response there from compared to Vasnik's early kill through mid, but still VP. Oh, Jame pushed up on this angle. There we go. There's the response that he needs. Lines up the second as well. Sweet shots coming through from Jame, and he can fall away back further down long to try and hold this A site.
Yeah, what a horrible round from Heretics, all things considered. They might get this bomb down, but no flashes to contend with Jame. And now Maka's got to do it all on his lonesome up against that CIS sniper. He's got long control firmly under wraps with the M4s pressuring inside. It's that ragtag buy getting absolutely crushed here at the 30-second mark. Virtus.pro playing with supreme confidence upon this A-bomb site. The FAMAS should finish off the first. Maka is able to rail away one, and this AWP now becomes dangerous. Virtus.pro need to play this in a coordinated fashion, and peeking in the open will seal his fate. 5-0 VP.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie able to take that defuse, and again, Heretics yet to get off the mark in this game. It was a good chance in that round, but they decided to head to the bomb site where Jamie is holding with his AWP, able to cut down 2 players, and that really took the sting out of Heretics' attack there towards that side of the map. And again, another good retake for VP in that situation to bring them the round. So 5-0, Heretics. They have to be looking for at least a handful of rounds here on this T side. It's really getting away from them now. VP, they're starting to establish the economy. Not quite there just yet on the CT side, but it's starting to get a little scary.
Yeah, and I've got to say, Heretics have been making mistakes. We saw no flashbangs connecting onto Jame in that last round. He's playing a very standard spot. You need a flashbang over the top. You actually need the smoke grenades for short as well to give yourself a little bit of breathing room upon that area. And Jame is absolutely going to shoot you like fish in a barrel at that point. It's never going to work out for you. 5-0 as a result. As we go into another rifle round here for Heretics. Mac adjusts with that scout one more time. Needs to connect with the headshots, and instead it's these nades so brutal. Python down to 28.
The utility paying off for Virtus.pro. Just doing that chip damage onto those Heretics players as they still prepare. Maybe for an offensive towards A. Certainly with the stack up through short, they might be able to have a bit of a look, but they have absolutely no long presence whatsoever, let alone control. And Yekindar able to tag up a player inside the smoke as well. Doesn't complete the kill as Wasink really just playing the time inside the smoke there. Heretics pushing through towards mid to try and get this B play going, as it's a bit scrappy at the moment, all things considered. Wasnik able to open things up towards A, but there's action happening all over the map at the moment, and I'm not sure the players even know what's going on.
No, I certainly don't either. The bomb is dropped right in the open, and Wazink's surely going to get taken down here with ease. Yekindar finishes him off, and it's Virtus.pro maintaining this flawless scorecard. Such control towards that A-bomb site there. You see Buster just picking and poking around these smokes, really doing some sensational early damage, and Heretics just can't capitalize or contest with that. As many times as they go for these force buys, it leaves them without those all-important smoke grenades. That really just rolls long. It's just completely out of the question. I'd love to see some Deagle's armor, bit of utility in the next, and that is what they will finally go for. But VP, they've already amassed likely a 7-0 lead before this further pressure comes through. And Jame gets aggressive once again, does with that first shot, but he has got the fallback option, that flow chart in mind. And Cricket's there, a frag he finds.
Yeah, Cricket holding strong inside of... Oh, there's the wall bang, though.
He's insane.
From Jame.
It's pretty brutal, isn't it? Straight frag right through the door. I think we'll see a lot more like that from Jame this series, Raptoros.
Yeah, picks up another one as well. So Heretics, the Deagle armor, certainly not working out here. Yet to find the frag with them as well. They've tagged players down low, but that's all they are going to find. Unless Lucky can find a head here up against Yekindar. Nope, he's not going to even find that. Yekindar can respond, and Jame finishes off the round there inside of Long. And Virtus.pro 7-0 here. Dominant on their own map pick of Dust 2. And Heretics, clutching at straws at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly are. Back into the action, 7-0, and the AK's at the ready. That's the symptom of such a strong CT side. When you've got 4 AK-47s in hand, really does show that nobody's really dying in these engagements, and Virtus.pro can now try and apply this further pressure. I love the boost from Jame. I think he does get spotted out there, so it's just a nade in response. And Wazink, he's been on the receiving end of a lot of this shrapnel as of the first 7 rounds, and there's even more for his face.
hasn't gone well. Look at this long control as well from VP. Sanji basically pushed all the way up. Heretics, though, they've got at least some form of short control towards A, but again, there's not much you can do off the back of that, especially if you don't have any sort of presence here towards long. If Keo can find this opening against Sanji, then it might be looking a little bit better for them, but it looks like it's just going to be that one-dimensional attack towards short if they decide to go with this A-take.
Exactly, and what's so scary right now is Virtus.pro are going to have buys for days. Kicker, Buster, all into 5 figures. And nobody really lagging behind as far as that cash, that coffers is concerned. 45 seconds on the board. And to challenge Sanji might just seal Keo's fate. Maybe if Sanji gets aggressive here, he could be on the upswing towards this A-bomb site. Maybe then to challenge James as well. But it'll all be down to short. And remember, it's all down to this utility once again. Finally, that smoke plays for Quicker. He's going to play right around it. 30 bullets in the barrel. Loses most of them through. As Python able to trade it up. Puts James in a sticky situation. Clutching at straws to get back towards the long chamber. And with Keo capitalized, he's out towards mid to try and hold the cross. Heretics, this should be their first round on the board.
Should be. But that was a bit of a team flash there that ended up finishing off Kicker as completely blind from his own team. And now Keo able to make this round surely in Heretics' favor, as Buster and Jane will just decide to keep the weapons in hand. So Heretics able to get a single round on the board now. So at least that's a start for Heretics. It's something that they can build off. They've had a huge drought so far in this map, but again, to come back from this point on such a strong map for VP is going to be very, very, very tough. So it might even be a consolation round, all things considered.
Yeah, and especially considering I don't think that's massively replicatable. You won't see Jay missing as many shots as he did just then. Quicker only able to find one, maybe quite unfortunate with that AK-47, and Heretics on the back foot still in terms of that scoreline. 7-1, AWP still in hand for Maka, and a bit of money finally built up. They should be able to invest into the next 1 to 2 rounds, also with that loss bonus looking fairly sturdy. VP likewise, they've got plenty of money to go for the follow-up buys, even same with 2 rifles in the last, so minimum reinvestments carried in. I think we'll see this boost from Jane once again. He's just going to try and rip off ahead here. I don't know if he'll be able to find too much. Here comes the counter boost, and Jame actually gets taken.
He does. Neat little shot there from Python, and another one as well. Takes out Yekindar. So, looking pretty good here for Heretics. Still yet to drop a player in this round. Hold the 2-man advantage as they storm their way through short, but 2 players lie in wait here for VP to try and hold them back. They've got the rotations in, but no, Heretics is just going to double back off this one. They're going to throw a slight A fake here. Now it's a completely open B-bomb site.
Yeah, and the reinforcements are going to wrap in. Virtus.pro, I'm sure they'll just fall back. We know the memes. It's Jame time once again, and Keo wants to stop this. He's already rummaged his way onto a long, and he goes completely incognito for that first headshot. Flashbang, backtrack. He does get taken down, but only 2 rifles instead of the previous 3 retrieved.
Decent for the economy, but at this stage, Virtus.pro don't need to worry too much. I mean, Kicker doing his best to try and keep that T economy in check as well. Resnick will be able to get the trade in that one. But still, for this pro, still with a healthy advantage in this game. So they wouldn't mind too much dropping around like this, especially considering that they can get a decent buy up into the next round. Sanji still trying to hold on to this AK though, but Lucky will get off the mark. He was 007 coming into that round, so doing his James Bond impression no more.
Yeah, that's definitely a benefit. You want to get at least a couple of kills on the board. You see this entry kill graphic, and it's Kicker putting up most of the firefight, leading the pack for this Virtus.pro side. I don't think they're sweating just yet, to be perfectly honest, Raptoros. 7-2, still a comfortable scoreline. And we know that that T side's going to be pretty damn sturdy as well. Heretics a full buy. It's matched by Virtus.pro here. Jane with the AWP once again, and it's long control to start this off for Python. The smoke's dropped. Wezing also finds the first, and now Sanji has to capitalize. M31S in hand, and he wants to bail away from long with that 1-man trade.
Yeah, beneficial to do that. Just try and not over-aggress and just give up a kill as easily as you got one. VP content to just sit back for the moment. Heretics. Oh, there we go. I was just saying sitting back, but Kicker decides to give the free kill away to Maka. Direct into the AWP. James, the response is good, though. Sitting at the close angle with the AWP, and he's going to stay there as well. Heretics might have thought he'd fall off the back of this, so if James can remain in this position, that might be beneficial for them, but no, he's just going to readjust and play around the rest of his team.
It's so smart there for Jamie as well. He knows that Mac is still alive, so waits for that incendiary grenade to pile drive in to maybe knock Mac off the angle. Unbeknownst to him, Mac was actually watching towards the top of mid for some reason. And at the 45-second mark, it is a 3 versus 3, and Buster likely going to be challenged in this one. The bomb, I'm sure it'll rotate off in a way, but Sanji might have a great angle in this one. He's already wrapped himself onto short. He hears those footsteps, and Maka surely should get taken down here. Kyo finds a frag on the B site in the meantime, and this becomes incredibly difficult for Virtus.pro to get back into this B bomb site. James needs to catch one on the cross. Those Molotovs blocking his vision, and there's a flashbang as well to aid it. Bomb now firmly over, can go down, and maybe Virtus.pro decide to save this one.
Yeah, it would be tough, especially with the lack of utility that VP have at the moment. Just an incendiary and a HE grenade, no flashes, no smokes to try nicely any of these angles in the retake. So basically the only option they have is just go for the save at this point, especially with the healthy advantage that they have. So a positive couple of rounds here for Heretics, able to bring that deficit a little bit smaller than what it was previously looking like. A couple of good rounds for them. They're able to establish a little bit of a bank account as well on a couple of their players. So VP, again, I still don't think they have to be concerned about this, but another couple more rounds, then maybe, just maybe, you're looking at Heretics getting back into this game.
Yeah, we've got to remember that Heretics now have taken 3 in a row. This 4th is really the pivotal one to push Virtus.pro onto breaking point. We'll see a 7-5 start here for Heretics. If they can actually win this one single round, considering Virtus.pro will almost definitely be ecoing in the next with just a couple of pistols. This is the round that really matters. Breaking point for VP, finally. 3 in a row, very admirable here, and it's Kyo picking up a lot of the heavy lifting. Good headshots to start off a lot of these rounds. And Virtus.pro finally challenged. We see that utility really coming to a close. Actually see James holding that same angle that Python was previously able to punish both of them at before. As Heretics playing a lot more standard Counter-Strike here. This certainly looks like a B split to me.
It's what they're trying to set up for, but James might be the problem, not Kyo in this instance. If they decide to push their way through the mid doors, they're not teasing with the prospect just yet. Oh, he's continuing to try and swing with this with the AWP, and it's a great shot onto Python.
How does it get away with that? James is absolutely just so speedy.
He's so quick, and now Sanji trying to hold the long doors as well as the rest of Heretics. Again, still teased with the prospect of short, but the bomb still remains in the lower tunnel. Sanji able to swing out and take out Kyo. So now Heretics, what do they do from this point forwards? They're trying to push through mid doors. They are able to find the frag, but it comes at a cost. As Wasnik goes down, and now 43 seconds still left on the clock. Maka are able to get the smoke down, isolates players, gets a free kill on towards Buster. Now Heretics still at the man disadvantage here as VP try to chase them round the block. Yet Yekenda able to get the kill, and now, lucky. Well, not so lucky in that instance.
No, certainly not. Spray through the smoke. That was pretty much a maximum HP spray away there. Actually, probably a little bit messy on this first kill, but I'd love to see that Jane flick shot. Unfortunately, we don't get to see it there in the retake or in the replay, but 8-3, and James is just such a man to watch out for. He's been one of the top fragging players in this whole tournament. 8-3 up. You see those odds really start to reflect it. And what can Heretics do? I think they need all 4 of these remaining rounds to really stand a chance against Virtus.pro's T side here. It's usually incredibly powerful. That staple, the short push, that B execute as well is really tight for VP. 9 out of 10 wins as well. They must be doing something right in this tournament.
Look to try and continue on this trend. We'll bring them up to 13 series wins if they're able to get this one in the bag on the bounce as well. They've had a great month of October. But Heretics, are they going to be the first roadblock? Doesn't look like so far in this game, but that's the positive kill there. That's Python finding the entry towards short. Yekindart goes down, and VP with the response through upper tunnels here. They want to try and push and take map control, but Lucky on the other side of this incendiary takes out 2, and Heretics are in the B site.
And this will still be breaking point for Virtus.pro, remember. That money hasn't been built up at all. They've got nothing to work with. These 2 rifles, they've got to save them. It's Jame time once again. It's Heretics. That'll be a guaranteed 4th round, and preferably, probably a 5th, I would say. Maybe closing this half out in style. I did say earlier, Raptoros, that I think they need all 4 of these follow-up rounds, and that's exactly the way to do it. It's lucky to open up with those headshots, remember, and I think this AK-47 of Sanji should fall right now. Pretty sure that Razink knows exactly where he is. Apparently not. Looking the wrong way for the AK to swing in. At the 10-second mark, just trying to keep this AK-47 alive. Such a prime investment to carry through.
Yeah, they need to keep them in keep the guns in their hands, because the money is looking absolutely terrible for Virtus.pro. So Heretics up to 4 now. 4 more to go to tie things up in this map.
Here's the question, though. Do Virtus.pro decide to invest into this one? I kind of don't think they do. There's this kind of dilemma that you have if you're Jame right now. You can't afford an AWP in the next round, but it will be 3 pistols in this one. So maybe they play with just the 2 rifles, try and force some aggression with the pistols somewhere, try and take control of one portion of the map, preferably long, and just see if you can take the fight to Heretics. I'm really not sure. They've gone for the pistols nonetheless. No Kevlar invested. Should be a 5th here for Heretics.
Yekindart on the other side of this door, trying to play bait and switch with Kicker, but the Molotov is well placed from Wasink. Forces that close player off the angle. The flash through will bind up those VP players, but Vasnik's not going to peek off the back of this. But VP was a good idea, but hasn't exactly worked out there. It required the Heretics players getting a little bit too overzealous, but still another player on the other side of this door. Yekindart, if he can be clinical with the headshots here, he might be able to find Wasnik if he pushes through, but Heretics going to not do so just yet, and VP are going to stick with this triple stack towards B.
Yeah, the set play configuration, just trying to bait Sanji into the best angle possible to use that AK-47 to avail. If he gets taken down first, then it's just unfortunate, and he isn't looking the right way here. At the 50-second mark, I guess if Lucky goes for this swing, he should easily and assertively be able to find this opening frag, and Sanji seems to have no idea. That kill coming through the side of the map is certainly going to isolate him, force him into the push, which pretty much ends the round in its tracks here. Both of those primary investments won't be carried through now. The AWP falls. James kind of sidelining sub-goal here was just to save that AWP and unable to do so.
Yeah, it's really catch-22 situation around like this, because you want to put your better guns in the best position to be able to find kills, but at the same time, you're putting them at a major risk of just being dropped if they're not able to do their primary objective, and it's just the latter has happened here for VP. They put those guns in risky spots, but they have not delivered, and now they're going to really be struggling in terms of the buy for the next round. Lucky able to clean up a couple of players here. Kicker left all alone. Maybe able to find an exit frag or 2 would be great, but in the end, he gets nothing.
Yeah, not the massively successful round there for Virtus.pro, not finding a single frag, still 8 rounds on the board, and really just matching the pace of what we saw in Inferno, right? Virtus.pro take that big assertive lead, and then Heretics kind of clawing their way back into that first half. It was then the second half where they just weren't able to put up as much of a fight. And here for VP, still 10 rounds, certainly possible. Jane without that AWP. It's the opposing AWPer of Maka holding that one. He's going to just hold towards mid. He's often a bomb man as well, so no decision is made until he has either found a frag or made the decision. Wazing, he's in a world of trouble right now, and expect him to go down very quickly. Yekendar's there to pick up the pieces.
Yeah. It's opened things up, though, for Heretics inside of mid here. They're able to establish control, able to get that CT smoke down with the Molotov behind it as well. Yekindar can't really do anything about this, although they will decide to try and push it, but Lucky able to find a frag onto Buster to open up this B bomb site. Bomb's been lost towards the window position there, so they'll have to very quickly recover that, and, well, they're not able to. Lucky goes down as he tries to transition to the site, so all of a sudden this is looking pretty good here for VP.
and incredibly creative to send all 4 through upper B tons. I don't think Heretics will be expecting this for a second. And Keo watching the cross. They are actually going to slaughter all of them, just leaving Sanji remaining. Needs to find some success with the Fammer. Switches up and upgrades as Python, he's got the corner locking key. And what a 4 versus 2 there for Heretics. That firepower shining through once again. It's all down to Keo just staying alive for so long behind these boxes. All of the information granted somehow, and what a round there from Heretics.
Brilliant stuff indeed, and Python able to close things out in the 1 versus 1. It all came down into that point, but you're absolutely right. Kyoshima doing a large amount of the work there, cutting down the players as they try to charge through B. But it was still a very possible round there for Virtus.pro with the aggressive play through the smoke, able to find the bomb not once but twice in transition through window. It was a very winnable round for them, but it seems like Keo and Python say no.
Such a disappointing result there from Virtus.pro, and might end this half in the worst possible way. 8-7 seems to be a probability now for the Heretics, as Wazing stretches forward, finds that first shot. Yekindar falls.
Yeah, James pushed up here, trying to find some form of advantage for his team, even if it's just a little bit of map control, but he's going to have to back off for that situation. He doesn't have the weaponry required to be holding such aggressive angles. So back to the site he goes to try and hold with his teammate. Heretics a little bit more methodical in their approach. They don't want to actually push too far or too aggressively up into these weaker guns. It is another force buy, by the way, for Virtus.pro. They're really, really wanting to get the rounds on the board, but they're starting to have their lead be completely and utterly demolished.
And that's a really disappointing half, all things considered. If you're 7-0 up on the CT side, you're looking to at least close it down with a double-digit performance. James, of course, deprived of that AWP, only has the 5-7 instead. Let's see what he can do with it. It's an instant headshot as the flashbang goes through. Sanji should be able to capitalize off of this one, and the Famus only finds the first. Leaves Buster Kickert clutching its straws here on this A-bomb site. Double smoke for the cross. There's a big fat gap in it, though. And that's a bit of a mistake. Keo does negate that factor, though. Only 10 seconds left, so bomb to go down. And Buster shouldn't be able to do all too much about this one. Mac has got the angle, completely locking key. I don't think there's any upgrade there for Buster. He goes down. It's 7 rounds for Heretics.
Yeah, fantastic recovery there. In the first half of things, and Virtus.pro just kind of collapsed in there in the last couple of rounds of the half, just not able to get anything done, and that was mostly due to James not being able to buy up into the AWP as he had done so for the vast majority of the early rounds. He's by far the standout performer for VP, but if he doesn't have his big green gun, then he can't quite deliver as much as he can with the sniper.
Yes, certainly not. This pistol very important coming into this second half. Virtus.pro T side. We see those statistics before we get back into the action. It's James leading the charge again. Wazink making his first appearance on those entry frags. Just pressuring towards the middle of the map as well. We saw that early on in this series, but didn't really go massively contested. This should be just a B rush for Virtus.pro. They want to tap away the first man. That's Python staying alive for so long. This becomes real problematic right now. The rotates come through, and Maka Python, they find 2 and 3. Easy frags to find. And now with the rotates and wraps already in, Virtus.pro finding it very hard to contend for this control, and the P250 has to do something sensational. It's quicker, it gets chopped away, and Yekindar's next in line for a pounding. He's absolutely dead to rights right now, and Heretics, they level up this score.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion there inside the upper tunnels for Virtus.pro. The communication breaking down because a couple of players at the very front really wanted to try and get inside the site as fast as possible. A couple of players still inside of upper tunnels. Kika even wanted to back out of that situation entirely, but was getting blocked by his teammates, so he wasn't able to fall away. A bit of a mess there from the inside the B site. Result have been able to draw this game level with those headshots that they were able to manage.
Yeah, certainly. A pause coming through. Maybe a technical one here. I don't see why you'd take attack this early into the half. And Virtus.pro, they have got a dilemma right now. Do they want to invest? Go for these Tech 9s, perhaps the Deagles? I would say perhaps not. Here on Dust 2, the chances are just go with the Glocks. Maybe invest into one flash and a smoke. Try and get that bomb down towards short. It's just like that B site of Train. It can be quite easy to overwhelm that bomb site, especially just against some ragtag weapons. Heretics, though, they primarily invest into these rifles. Double FAMAS, the M4 in play. There's Virtus.pro. They spread all across this map right now. What is the game plan here? How are they going to be able to get a bomb down?
Well, it'll be difficult. That's one thing for certain, especially up against the SMGs here with absolutely no armor. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Yekindar, though, looking to try and make an opening here towards the A-bomb site. If he can get a sweet little adjustment downwards and find a headshot, then maybe this A-bomb site might be for the taking for VP. But Maka decides that there's no way in for the VP side and cuts down a couple of players with the FAMAS. The flash to respond, though. They still tease with the prospect of going A here, but they're just running to their deaths. And Wasnik services are now required to cut down one of the final players, and James left all alone, and he isn't on, well, alive in the server anymore. And Heretics are able to get themselves a 9-8 lead. We weren't expecting that, especially in the first half where VP decided to go for 7-0 at the very start of the game of the map here. So Heretics have done very well to try and recover up to this point.
Well, yeah, they've won 9 out of the last 10 rounds here, Heretics. Momentum, firmly in their favor, and Virtus.pro with the AK-47s to try and turn this one around. A standard bait play, just 3 players towards the upper B tons. Yekindar gesturing for this B control. Might actually spot out something here. Might have even heard that jump up from Keo, so I'd expect the pre-fire, and he's not going to go for it. Keo caught with a nade out regardless, and that's the whole B-bomb site now up for grabs. Keo is the sole defense, and I don't think Heretics can even afford to get back into this one right now. If they can find maybe a cheeky kill or two, primarily just instantaneously, then maybe there's an option. But you see VP already going for this hunt. Jame Kicker ready towards that T-spawn. Probably going to be pressuring into A long with these AK-47s to eviscerate this buy from Heretics.
Yeah, it's the only option they possibly could have had. The entry to the B bomb site, was so quick, and like you said, Keo just caught with a grenade out, and not able to put up any sort of fight whatsoever. So from what's been a struggle in this second half here for VP so far, all of a sudden they've been absolutely gifted around. Just one player falling in this entire round. There's Keo, that sole defender of the B bomb sites, and Heretics going for the quite correct option of saving those weapons into the next round, given that their CT economy has not been established.
Yeah, it makes sense for VP as well. They don't have too much money built up. They want these back-to-back rounds. A lot of the time, the better way to actually put the pressure on the counter-terrorist economy is to save on that T side, get as many buy rounds on the board as possible. And you do see those odds closing once again. It really does feel like deja vu to Inferno, and if that is the case, Heretics could very easily take this one. Remember, if they do take Dust 2, this could have easily been a 2-0 for them. Straight through to the playoffs, really convincing performance. See what Virtus.pro can do about this one with the long control.
Well, they've been able to secure control at least a little with the utility and the smokes down, and forcing Heretics to basically fall all the way back and decide to commit towards short as well. That's usually the plan here on the CT side. If you lose control of long, then you have to make sure that you hold short to be able to have any sort of chance when it comes to that A site push. But Virtus.pro readjusting all the way through spawn here, looking to try and get established inside of the upper tunnels. So it's just a little bit of a fake play towards the long position there. And Heretics have fallen for it and fell all the way back. But VP, they're just taking a tour of Dust 2 at the moment. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, they're seeing all of the sites. There's the London Eye up there. 9-9, though. I really don't like that round from VP, to be perfectly honest. I mean, as soon as you've got long control, that's such precious a map advantage that's kind of your vantage point to burst onto the A-bomb site. It's something that they hadn't have done as of that point. Heretics also had a really bad defense to kind of set up for it, and when you spot no presence towards A long, it's usually a telltale sign that Heretics are playing this quite aggressive short position. You're not going to be just playing like back on this A site. So FAMAS is forward, AK-47 retrieved, and Maka wants to go for another one right now. Smoke placed, forced forward, footsteps found, and there's a smoke grenade to aid his advantage, and Buster doesn't guess it. Heretics, this should be a 10th, and it absolutely is.
Yeah, I mean, incredibly intelligent play there from Maka. The smoke down to try and suggest that He was trying to back away from things, but no, he was in the front of the smoke. And Heretics lead here in the second half of Dust 2 by just a single round. But like I said, if you said that at the, well, round 8 mark, I wouldn't have believed you. But Heretics, they've been able to do it on the CT side, now hold the advantage. But the problem for them comes now is that VP, have been able to buy up into this one. Not maximum grenades by any means, but the AWP on James is there.
It certainly is, and he needs to be a massive member on this T side to find those openings, be an aggressive threat here for Virtus.pro. And he don't connect as Yekindar just forcing forward. That's something you'll see Virtus.pro do pretty commonly on this T side, not pushing into short in the first 20-30 seconds, knowing that those nades are probably going to rattle and roll in. Long being in contention as well. VP spread across the whole map. And no AWP in play for Heretics. That becomes a problem when trying to defend this middle of the map area, especially if a B split comes through. They need to contend with Keo as the first man.
Yeah, boosted up on that angle. Lucky to try and cover him as well. But with the smoke down, 55 seconds gives Heretics a bit of space to work with. VP might even decide to try and burst through mid doors here and try to get a B split going. But Yekindar is all on his own here towards A, trying to find a couple of heads to try to pop. But he's just going to fall back to the rest of his team now. There's the impact through the mid doors. Mid to B smoke has been deployed, and Sanji's going to be the first point of contact here inside of the B site as he cheeses with those doors, spots out Keo up on the boost spot, and Lucky's able to get a double on the defense here, but can't get any more. It causes VP a bit of a worry, but now it leaves Maka in the 1 versus 3, and Yekindar cuts him down.
And despite losing so many rounds in a row, Virtus.pro showing that routine confidence. It's such a classic from them. 10-10 drawing the scoreline level. And now dilemma time for Heretics. What's the buy going to look like? I expect the AWP, perhaps even doubles to come out. Python's got enough to drop that double sniper if needed. Or he just goes for the M4 along with a full set of utility. It will be the latter. Lucky to actually picks up that secondary AWP, and he'll be using that one towards A long. Second AWP actually also towards mid, so no real coverage on this B bomb site for anybody other than Keo. And I always say it, when you play Keo on a solo site take, you have to just step up. It's either hero or zero.
Yeah, looking for the hopeful spam through, but Wasnik able to find the head with the Deagle. Buster looking to respond and does so in kind. So now things all even in terms of the numbers on the server. And Heretics, well, Python trying to have a little bit more of a look through towards mid there, but we'll decide to back off of things instead. VP still have opportunities in this game, in this map, but not if Lucky's pulling off shots like that. That's the bomb down towards long as well. It's quickly recovered, though, by VP. So they're falling to these 1v1 duels at the moment, but an A-site offensive might pay off just that little bit more. We'll just have to see, but there's a push coming through from mid. That's going to be imminent here.
Certainly will be. Python still maintaining this position and surely should burst off the back of that. Yekindar 1, not quite done. With the AWP in the back lines, Maka might be in contention once again. Yekindar really has to be hyper aware of this one. And as Keo, he's sat between the CT spawn. This becomes very difficult for Heretics to get back into, especially with the Molotovs placed. Keo is able to find another one. Maka goes for the full wrap and rotate. AWP using the long scope to his advantage. But Sanji still on short, contending with Keo to start, and that's a head glitch angle. Sanji instantly nails it. And knowing this is Maka, he should be sure it's an AWP. And on to long he looks as ramp becomes the moment of contention. Sanji still has this angle posted, planted. Maka without the kit has to hurry the hell up. Needs to hit this shot right now, and it's just not going to happen. Tick-tock. There's the headshot, an 11th for VP.
Great patience there from Sanji, knowing that the last player is an AWPer and that AWP presence has been shown earlier on in the round. So all he had to do was hide at those close angles, force Maka's hand to try and go up close and personal with the AWP, which only so few players can make work, especially up against an opposite rifle. And VP able to convert the round. Up to 11 they go. They retake the lead here in this map and look to try to charge towards a 2-0 win in the series. It might be a likely 12th here as well, considering Heretics' bye.
we've got to be honest as well, Virtus.pro, this hasn't been the most convincing matchup. You looked at the odds coming into this series, it was incredibly one-sided. Doing the eye test on the server, this is anything but. Heretics will eat the eco, go for the buy in the next, but VP, 12-10, can they close out as of that point?
That is the big question. Heretics not looking likely in this round, however, to get themselves the round, at least on first look. With the full eco they've decided to go with. No investment whatsoever, apart from a Deagle on Python that was bought pretty late on in the buy phase there. So not looking at all likely in this one, unless they're able to get a couple of lucky picks with some creative plays onto some VP players. But James already cut one down. There's the follow-up as well. So the eco seemingly not a problem for VP.
Absolutely not. Very simple stuff. Headshots galore and Buster looking for more. That'll finish off proceedings. 12-10, as I mentioned. And VP now need 4 to finish.
Yes, they do. They're getting closer and closer, but like you said, though, it's not been entirely convincing for them in this game, both on Inferno and here on Dust 2 as well. You would have thought, looking at the odds, looking at the player performances, looking at the fact that Heretics are having to play with a stand-in or a substitute at this moment in time, you would have thought, well, it's going to be a very clean 2-0 to VP, but it's been anything but. Heretics have been able to fight them every step of the way, but now is where this series comes to a head.
I mean, it's not even just the stand-in, is it? Python literally signed to the roster yesterday. Been playing as the stand-in for this Heretics side for the last couple of weeks, filling in for XMS and Navira. While other things have been going on, XMS out of the roster again today. And yeah, that's definitely not an advantage. If you're playing these CT sides, that communication needs to be totally on point. And I know that these players do have experience playing with each other, but it's not, you don't have that depth of experience playing these LOOT.BET sort of European tournaments. It's just Wazink to be challenged on this A-bomb site as the AKs encroach.
Smokes down here for VP to gain a bit of a foothold. Just a single player inside the site. Westnick trying to play around with this smoke. 2 players have gone past him, and he's been completely and utterly unchecked. He does go down, though, thanks to the hands of Sanji. And Yekindar is here to try and cut off the rotations as well. And Heretics deciding to keep the weapons in hand. They can't justify going for this up against 5 players with the 3 that they have, considering the cash. And Yekindar is looking to take that away from them. Spots one out. There's the second as well. And 2 quick headshots have completely demolished Heretics' economy.
Absolutely. That's more nails bashed into the Heretics coffin. And unfortunately, this will be a 13th for Virtus.pro. Absolute guarantee at this point. Python just trying to cling onto that rifle. Deciding attack is the best defense to try and cling onto this blue M4. And it's just not going to happen. Virtus.pro wrap him in. Just so little map control there for Heretics. Start of this 24th. This is where Virtus.pro need to take a bit more control and try and close this out against the Pistols.
They absolutely do. Otherwise, they're staring down the barrel of 14-10, which would be a shame considering how well they've done to try and recover themselves up into this point. After going down 7-0 early on in this map, they've put in a lot of hard work to get back to this point, but gonna have to work even harder on the Pistols to try and get this round in the bag, that's for certain. They have a couple of grenades to work with, a couple of smokes, single flash on Python as well. Virtus.pro looking to try and just take control along for the moment. 4-man squad here, the 5th will join them shortly. That's Buster just watching the flank for the moment. And Heretics, it'll be a big old task here to hold on to this A-bomb site.
Yeah, no prizes for what's about to happen here. Virtus.pro, the smokes will go down, and surely these frags found. The Deagles surely stand no chance here. As Yekindar's going to start off the fragging. That pretty much opens and closes this 24th round. Should be 14-10, pretty much a guarantee here for VP. The open plan absolutely secures that one. And Heretics, it's down to the exits.
It is, but that tier economy is still very much established. They're trying to take the guns away, perhaps. That's what they're looking to do with these exit frags rather than do any economy damage. But again, I don't think VP will give them the luxury. They have a ton of cash in hand. They don't need to go chasing these kills at the end of this round. So they're just content to just sit inside along here, just run towards the pit and make sure that Heretics don't get a chance to rob a couple of AKs from them.
Yeah, that seems to be the case right now. Heretics will have the full buy going into the next. The AWP will be available. And even for Lucky as well. Maybe he picks up a glass cannon here. I wouldn't prioritize that. Maybe if one's dropped over, a lack of utility on somebody else. I would prioritize 4 rifles, though, for Heretics and just a single AWP. That's exactly what they've gone for. We see those Molotovs come out. They've got 4 available. And Virtus.pro, of course, that economy is looking incredibly stable. They're looking great right now. Yekindar doing a lot of these opening frags. Everybody really stepping up to the party. They need 2 more to finish off this map series. And Swiss system. Heretics, bit of long control to start things off. The smoke's placed, but Virtus.pro about to aggress.
Yekindar certainly considering that through the mid doors. Able to put the mid-to-B smoke down as well. Although VP, they just don't have to commit off the back of that. And in fact, they can't due to the bomb just lying inside of long doors at the moment, and the rest of the players spread across the map. So it just forces Heretics' hands here. Python trying to jump on the box, but all he does is give sound cues away, unfortunately. So decides against it for now. The flash through to gain short control here for VP. So very methodical so far in this one, but Heretics, what can they do with the guns? This will be their last big chance to try and get around on the board.
Yeah, with a minute left as well, there's plenty of time, and Yekindar with plenty of frags. Both headshots through the corner of the smokes, and that might just be the map over Raptoros. Yekindar's going to apply the pressure one more time, bailing into the CT spawn, and he's going to find even more frags here. There's another one for his troubles. Python eliminated. Tried to slip away, but it's unbeknownst to him. 15-10 here, a guarantee for VP, as they will hunt for these final 2 rifles right now. Lucky's incredibly low on health, and being the first man to face on the B bomb site, Sanji surely takes him down right now. There are no HEs in play, fortunately, but I still don't think he's going to be able to get away with this one. Just the 2 M4s to save.
Yeah, Heretics, they have to keep a hold of these M4s if they're going to have a chance at the first map and series points for Virtus.pro after this one. VP just waiting to push in towards this B bomb site to try and rob that M4 from Lucky's hands. Sanji swings it, Lucky deals with it. One more, there we go. Another one for Lucky, but there's simply too much for Lucky to deal with as he does lose that M4. Just the 1 rifle for Heretics saved into the next round. This is the entry from Yekindar though. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Lucky there, even though he finds 2 kills and then drops, that's still negative EV, you could say. He needed that rifle carried through, and they've got Famous and a MP9 as a response. That utility lackluster, and Virtus.pro 5 chances to finish with the double AWP pulled into round number 26.
Yeah, very strong setup here, and Yekindar has already made an impact. He continues to swing around. He's so damn frag hungry right now and finds another couple of kills. Brilliant stuff there from VP, as it looks like they'll just about be able to win this series unless Kyo can do anything about this.
And he absolutely shouldn't be able to. A 1 versus 4 to keep this series alive. The smoke's firmly placed. I don't even expect VP to throw another one. Just all the fire and flames all the way through. And Kyo, just no chance. That's a cremation, surely. And Buster, unfortunately, can't hit the shot. It doesn't end the series on a high, but that is a headshot to finish. 16-10, Raptoros.
Yeah, absolutely. So Virtus.pro able to get back in gear, back to their early map form to try and close out this series, close out this map. And Heretics, they gave it a very, very good try. An amazing attempt there, but unfortunately it wasn't to be.
No, unfortunately not. Virtus.pro, they'll be our second playoffs participants joining the Mega. Remember our show, it's not over. We'll put the stream down for a little bit, but Go Fate, it's going live in 2.5 hours' time, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. We'll be back very shortly with more LOOT.BET action.